So what does it take to apply to US universities? This is the overview of the application process. First of all, most US universities for STEM programs require a GRE. Other programs like management programs will require a GMAT, but STEM programs require a GRE. You will also have to provide an English proficiency score in the form of a TOEFL or an IELTS. Okay, so these two standardized tests are mandatory. There are some universities where you could apply without a GRE even if you're a little bit fearful of the GRE, but fear not. We have a lot of excellent prep tools for you to equip yourself with the skills you need to succeed in that test. You will need a statement of purpose, letters of recommendation, usually from professors. But if you have work experience, you can get your letters of recommendation from your work supervisors also. But the recommenders have to be people who have worked with you closely, either in an academic or professional capacity. You'll need a well-written resume. The resume is important for your application, but as I said, you will have to use your CPT and OPT options. So you'll need a resume to apply for jobs as well. You'll need a bank statement. Now, the bank statement is not an academic document. The bank statement is not an admissions document. Rather, it is an immigration document. So admissions decisions are not based on your bank statement. You need to provide a bank statement in order to procure an I-20, which is your visa document. Some universities will require this bank statement as part of your application. Other universities will say, please provide the bank statement after you have received an admit. Either way, it is important to plan your finances. There are US universities for various budgets. You can apply to universities that cost as little as 11 lakhs per annum on tuition cost to 40 lakhs per annum for tuition cost. A lot of this depends on the ranking of the university, the location of the university, and the variety of program offerings. So there are program options for various budgets, right? So I think you need to start planning what that budget might be well in advance, what may be affordable to you well in advance, so that you're not caught by surprise. Work experience is not mandatory for a STEM field, but if you have work experience, it will be very good. You can indicate that as part of your resume. You may fill that information in your application and share the highlights of that experience in your statement of purpose. So if you have work experience, it's good, but a lot of STEM fields do not require it, which means if you're in college in your 3rd or 4th year, you can plan to apply during your 4th year to graduate school. You'll need photocopies of your passport. Keep your extracurricular activities proof ready. You'll not need to submit it, but keep it ready because you'll be mentioning that as part of your application. You'll need to pay an application fee. You don't need a bank check or demand draft anymore. You will be able to pay your application fee nowadays. All applications are online and you'll be able to pay the fee by debit card or credit card. So what will it take to secure admissions to my dream university? So universities take a holistic approach to the admissions process. While the test scores are important, they are not the only element. Like in India, the entrance exam is the only deciding factor of whether you get into that college or not. And in India, for example, if you're not studying in one of the top colleges, life can be challenging, right? Because it's competitive. The best jobs go to people who come out of the best universities, and it's very competitive to get admitted into those IITs and IIScs and right? So Test scores are the only deciding factor to these top institutions in India, but it's not so in the US. Test scores are important, but they're looking at everything. They're looking at your undergraduate academics and your performance there, research projects and conferences that you have done, and internships that you have done. They will look at the academics background from the transcripts. Internships, research projects, and conferences will be listed on your resume, but you will also talk about the highlights of your achievements and your growth experience in your SOP. And finally, the LORs, which is a testimony by third-party testimonies of your suitability for grad school, right? So all aspects of your application receive a holistic review. And remember, the review is holistic, but the review is also competitive, and which is why the reviews, it's more important, right? There might be multiple students with the same GRE score, multiple students with similar GPA and course structure, but how do they differentiate themselves? They differentiate themselves in their own individual learning process, what they have done in order to become better at what they would like to do, right? And this is through projects and internships and conferences and all of that. And this is what you get the chance to showcase to your admissions committee, and that we can help you present better competitively for this very competitive review process, right? So tips for a strong SOP. The SOP is a very important document where you will be able to distinguish yourself from other candidates. You will be able to talk to the other candidate beyond just being that GRE score or that TOEFL score. You're not just a number to the admissions committee anymore. You are a person with a story, a very strong rationale for pursuing grad school at this time, and you're also able to highlight the strengths of your achievements and also demonstrate the vulnerabilities of your learning and knowledge to be competitive in the future, right? So you present a very holistic picture of yourself through your essay, and you give very personal insights on your desire to not only study abroad, you provide a lot of personal insight into why you're choosing that particular university to study abroad. Granted, we help you shortlist universities, we'll help you identify universities for you to apply to, but you choose to apply to them. And you need to be very clear on why you're applying, be it the course structure, the course curriculum, or the faculty members who work there. Whatever the case may be, you have to have a clear agenda for why you've chosen that university. The next is the letter of recommendation, which is very valuable third-party testimony to your readiness for graduate school. Usually comes from a supervisor, a professional supervisor, or an academic supervisor, which is basically your faculty members in college. So make sure you have a very good relationship for all of them. Make sure among all the people they meet on a day-to-day basis that these people are able to notice you. They are able to talk very specifically about your strengths, your contributions to their work, or your contribution to college in some way, contribution to academics, in order to highlight your caliber and potential in grad school, right? So these LORs are also very important. So some tips for your LOR: ask your recommender well ahead of time. Don't give them a short notice. Have good relationships with all the people you're requesting recommendations from, because at the end of the day, there is a deadline and your recommenders must submit the letters on time so that it doesn't delay the review process, which means you have to trust them and they have to trust you. There will be a automatic email which will be sent to the recommender. They'll have to fill out the form, upload your letter, and they will be doing this on their own time, right? Give them adequate time to do this process, and make sure that it is submitted before the application deadline.